So World's Strongest Man had just released the first changes ever to the comp in about 50 years, and they're doing a new point system where basically once you get into the final, you'll get placed kind of similar to OSG, like you'll get reshuffled and placed as if only those 10 were competing, and then you'll start the final with 1 to 10 points basically is what it'll be, won't it? Because if you're in 10th place, you're on 1 point, or if you're on first place, you're on 10 points at the start of the final. I think it changes quite a lot really, because you have to make sure you, like some athletes would be kind of trying to cruise the heats, but you can't do that anymore.
Yeah, and I think it's more of a, like you said, it's more of a thing for the seed ones and the guys who'd usually be winning the groups, because it's like with the heats effectively been the 6th event, it's like usually guys who can like absolutely slaughter everyone in the heat and then get into the final pretty fresh. It changes that dynamic now where it's like everyone has to go. It's not a 5-event final now.
Well,
it's literally a 10-event show.
Last year a few people were just moving that yoke a little bit, weren't they? I think it was the last event, the yoke.
It was, yeah.
They're just moving that yoke a metre or two. Now it's like, well, you've got to do the event and do it as fast as you can. And obviously the last event, the Stones of the World, everybody's got to do that instead of it being, the first place seed would just kind of go through to the final, but now he's got to do that event and got to do well on it because it's going to count towards the points in the final.
I like it. I think it's better because it's a test of consistency again, then, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Like in a 5-event show, if you get reasonably lucky, don't get me wrong, I don't believe to a certain extent you can't hide. If you're one of the best guys in the world, like I think if you're top 5 in the world, you're pretty much good at every single strongman event. It's not really possible for you to be top 5 in the world and have absolutely horrific events. However, I think that over 10 events, it's like whoever wins this world is like the best strongman. Like it is.
So OSG style would be that basically instead of it being in heats where you got 5 per group, it's just be like one big group of 25 athletes, or even if you kept it as heats, but it was still contested overall, because then it takes out the fact that, like, if you're in a really hard heat, your times and reps etc. might have placed higher in another heat, but because you come like 4th or whatever, you don't qualify through to the final. But if you were to be contested overall, you might have still been in the top 10. So it's a slightly strange way of doing it, I think, but it's better than it was. So
I'd have actually liked them to score them each individual event as you go into the final as well. So instead of it being 10 points, if you won every event in the heats compared to everyone else in the final, I'd rather you start with 50 points. So it's literally a 10 event. That's a full 10 event comp then. Because I know they're saying it's a 10 event comp, but it's not. It's kind of like the heats, the 5 heat events are just kind of culminated into one singular event performance points wise. Whereas I think,
I see what you mean.
Whereas I'd rather they took,
because you get 10 points, which is what's maximally available for one event win, isn't it?
So they're basically going to leaderboard. If we ran the heats as if it was the final with the 10 people who made the final, what would their placings have been? And then give 10 to 1 based on their placing there, instead of it being 10 points for each individual event. Which I don't get me wrong, I think it's better. I think it's better than the old way of doing it, but I think that it'd have been even better if they were just like, right, imagine the comp only have these 10 people now and they've done these 10 events, where would they have come? I think that would have been a better competition, to be fair. I think it's a good thing for me because I am pretty consistent. Like even when I'm placing at shows like last year where I was kind of coming 3rd, Europe's had a really good performance. I think my event placings were 3rd, 4th, 3rd, 1st. So obviously it's that consistency is what I'm quite good at. I don't really have bad events apart from 18-inch deadlift, which unfortunately is in this comp. But that's why I think it works out better for me, because it kind of dilutes the points of the final from, if I have a 1 event blunder in a 5-event show, I'm getting punished for it. Whereas if I have a 1 event blunder in a 10-event show, well, the likelihood that someone else has probably got an event in there that isn't as good as well. I don't think it suits Lucas Hatton.
Yeah, we were talking about this because we were saying Lucas. We look at Lucas as we think his finals events are
unreal.
Yeah, if it, But the way I mean, he's just an amazing strongman. It's hard to say, but I did think my prediction on Lucas would be that if he makes the final, he's going to be really good. But I thought that his heats weren't that great from what I know. So now if he goes into the final, maybe a bit punished, you know, maybe he's in a few points behind in the final. Maybe even though he's having a really good final, maybe he doesn't place quite as high because of the heat. So yeah.
I don't think he'll be punished as much as if it was like the OSG format where they recalculate to 50 points. Like the reality is, if he comes like 8th out of the finalists, he's getting 3 points. Like it's not unrecoverable, is it? Do you know what I mean? Like he's only 7 points off the guy who is the best guy out of all the heats.
It's just that starting 0.
That's
in Luke's final event.
Yeah, same. I was like, he's probably a reasonably strong absolute podium.
Yeah.
Because he is, and this is the thing as well. I think watching Lucas and Alec on their YouTube channel, like they're very realistic in what he's able to do performance-wise as well. Like they basically called his Arnold's performance to the T, and both of them have been saying the heat events aren't great for me.
Okay,
but I'd have anticipated him to get in the final anyway, because he'll have practiced the stone off and he's an intelligent strongman and he'd have done well on that. And I think that his deadlift's good enough, his overhead is ridiculous.
And I know Alex very good at programming and getting like the natural stone lift and stuff. And that stone's the world thing to me. That natural stone pick at the end's the one that is the hard part of it, really.
Yeah. But then one thing that I actually do like about this rule change as well, and I think it's quite like it's quite a subtle thing, is that there's quite a lot of overlap from some of the events that the guys did at the Arnolds.
Yeah.
So the events at the World Strongest Man final. Now you've got to think like they've put behind the neck split jerk, behind the neck jerk in the World Strongest Man final. Well, some guys have been hitting that since early January, and it's like I've had 4 sessions. Do you know what I mean? So it's like they're having the overlap of the Arnold's events, and you know they've had a block of doing natural stones as well, pressing and shoulder and things
shoulder,
and stuff like that. Yeah, so.
They had a stone press, they had a stone shoulder.
Yeah.
So yeah, a lot of overlap. If you like the video and you want to watch more, click here.